those are the moments we really need to pay attention to, because those are signs, or the breadcrumbs, as I call them in the book, that are leading us towards our purpose, that are leading us towards where we're meant to go. And when we start to lean into them and follow them, then something else will open up. And then the next opportunity will show up. And it's sort of detaching from feeling like we have to know exactly what we're doing today, and allowing each breadcrumb to guide us on our path, and trust that each opportunity will unfold as we start to follow the trail that is all around us.
Welcome to the Midlife Reinvention Podcast. I'm your host, Kavita, and the founder of Power Purpose Play, a global community of women in midlife. I'm here to tell you that it's your time now to rediscover what has always been inside of you and bring that out into the world. If you're wondering what's next, but don't know quite what that is, or if you feel a twinge in your heart telling you that you have so much more to do and so much more to offer, you're in the right place. Ask yourself, if not now, when? Do you want to leave your job, start your own business, take control of your health, reignite the passion in your marriage, write that book, or at least that first chapter? Transitions like this can be daunting, but through listening to my story and interviews with incredible women every week, I hope to inspire you to take action. I rediscovered myself after the age of 50, and I know you can too. It's my time now to help you do just that. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Reinvention Podcast. I hope you're doing well. It's been a couple of weeks since our last episode because I unfortunately got tested positive for COVID and have spent the last few weeks recuperating. I didn't expect it to hit me quite so badly, despite being triple vaccinated, and getting really sick really put a lot of things in perspective for me. For those of you who may have had it or other illnesses, I'm sure you can relate to what I'm saying. Firstly, we go through life kind of expecting that everything will go as planned. Yet when something unexpected happens like this, everything is thrown off kilter. And all those things that you thought were super important to deal with right now, you realize they're not really as important as they seem. The most important thing is our health, and when that is jeopardized, it's difficult to look past it. It truly does give us perspective, and ironically, the topic of today's podcast is on claiming your TGI, or thank God it's today, not Friday or the weekend, not when I go on vacation, not when I get the promotion or the house or the car or the lover or anything else we hang our hats on as goals that will make us happy. What do we really want after all? It's the feeling of love, satisfaction, happiness that we think we will achieve when we get those things. Why can't we achieve love, satisfaction, happiness now without having to achieve those things? I've talked about this before, but the importance of being in the present moment and appreciating all the things we have now is vital. We only have this moment, and now is all there ever is. We think that if we don't get through our to-do lists or answer those emails or attend those meetings or be there for everyone else, we will be disappointing others. But the truth is, sometimes we just have to be to realize life is truly precious and appreciate all of life's little moments. When I put play in Power Purpose Play, I didn't actually realize the true significance of that term. To me, it means being in the moment in the best way we know how, because we don't know what the next moment will bring. I hope you take this next week to enjoy a beautiful start to July. I'm blessed with that my parents are visiting, and we will be spending time with our family at a cottage in a place called Muskoka, which is north of Toronto. It is a gorgeous place, surrounded by lakes, and a time to really unwind and enjoy. So I will be doing that, being with me and my family, but always thinking how I might serve you well. I want nothing more than to help you realize how wonderful and precious this life is and how many great things are in store for you. Reach out to me and schedule a call with me to talk about that, about what your dreams are for you in this one and precious life. Enjoy this episode with Brianne Ligori, and I'll see you at the end with the key takeaways. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Midlife Reinvention Podcast. I'm your host, Kavita Ahuja, and I'm the founder of Power Purpose Play, which is a global community of women in midlife. I'm also a certified life transition and core energy coach, and my mission is to empower 1 million women in midlife worldwide to find your inner power and purpose, and to say with confidence, it's my time now. As part of this mission, I interview incredible women for this podcast who share their stories of reinvention and will give you advice on how to step into your own inner power and purpose. This week's guest is no exception. I've known Brianne Ligori for many years now, as we shared a similar corporate past and now have reinvented ourselves into the service of helping people find their purpose. Brianne lives and leads from the heart. She believes that everybody can and should live a life of purpose and joy. In her writing and her coaching, Brianne is laser focused on a worldview of infinite possibilities and a relentless pursuit of purpose. She sets an inspiring example by standing firmly for living according to her inner truth. Choosing joy, Brianne bravely set aside her dazzling corporate career to follow her bliss, sharing purpose-driven choices with the world. Brianne worked in the corporate world for many years, where she raised the bar in varying roles in sales, marketing, and training. Her desire to help people grow and learn led her to a professional coaching certification from the International Coach Federation and certified training and development designation. Brianne co-founded the Leader Coach Intensive, a coach certification program specifically targeted to developing leaders of the future. Brianne is also poised to launch a comprehensive learning program to accompany her inspiring book, Claiming Your TGI Today, and which I have right here. And we will talk about once we get into the conversation. So welcome to the podcast, Brianne. How are you?
I am so good. Thank you so much for having me, Kavita.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I just am so excited to get into your story and the book and all the great things. And because we have a similar, as I mentioned, kind of a similar path in our life.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear your take on it. But so you have come from a very interesting story, right? Of being in the corporate world and to becoming a certified coach and an author. So can you tell me kind of what triggered that shift, or I guess that reinvention that led to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's all so exciting. And, I was thinking about this kind of looking back. And for me, I wouldn't say there was like one key moment where I was like, okay, I'm leaving. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm starting my own thing. I think for me, it was a series of moments over years, paying attention to those opportunities that are right in front of you to learn about yourself, to learn about what you love. I was in the corporate world for 18 years and I had, as you mentioned, many roles. I loved it. I really, truly did. I don't think there was a moment where I was thinking, gosh, I hate this, or I didn't want to wake up. But for me, it was all of the things that I was learning throughout the process that led me towards this. Specific roles that I held that helped me to learn what I was good at, specific people that I met that kind of guided me in specific directions because I was paying attention. So if I think about it, back even 10 years ago, like I was a sales rep. I was in that role for many years. I was probably okay at it, maybe pretty good at it. And
I'm sure you were pretty good at it.
Oh yeah, not too bad, right? Yeah. But I started to feel this pull after I had my kids, and okay, there's something more. I'm not sure what it is. And so I spoke to my manager, Manon, who was one of the key people in my life. And I said to her, I know there's something else for me. I want to do more. Really not sure because I feel like I'm really shy and quiet and I probably couldn't be up in front of a room. And she said to me, whoa, stop right there. You are not shy. You need to build confidence.
Yes.
And that is exactly what we're going to do. So we did. Together, we worked to build my confidence so I was comfortable in front of a room. We started in baby steps, little by little. And then before you know it, I got a training job and I was leading launch meetings, sometimes in front of 300 people, something I never believed that I'd be able to do. And when I did it, I felt great. Like I loved it. I realized I was actually good at this. But a few years before, it would never even been an option. So paying attention to those key people that show up in your life as a teacher to really challenge you is really, really important. And of course, there's many more of those steps on the journey that occurred on sort of an 8 to 10 year plan to where I am today. But I would just encourage everybody to pay attention to those things. Moments where you feel joyous, you feel like most yourself, you're loving it. But also those moments of challenge when you have that key person coming into your life and saying, whoa, 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 no, we need to do this. And this is how I'm going to support you. Take them up on that opportunity, because really my time together with Manal has changed my world.
That's fantastic. So that's really important, I think, paying attention, you said, to key people and to, I guess, things that come in your way and in your path, because a lot of people will go through life and things will come to them, but they don't pay attention to them, and it doesn't alter their course, because they just feel that they're on this one course, and they don't pay attention to those little signals. So the fact that you paid attention to that not only gained your confidence, but so then from there you were still in the corporate world. And then how did you decide to leave, and what went from there? Like, what happened after that?
It's kind of interesting because like through that opportunity, becoming a trainer, then I became a certified coach. So I switched organization, and another really important person in my life, Linda, actually supported me to become a certified coach. And she really believed in me before I even believed in myself, in my abilities as a coach. She's like, you're an awesome coach. I had no idea that I was. And so through that, she actually gave me an opportunity to lead a project where I built all of the coach training for the entire leadership team in the organization. And through that, I actually met my current business partner in the Leader Coach Intensive, Belinda. And it was like magic sparks flew like between us in terms of our creativity, the fun that we had. Like that was probably the most fun I've ever had in a corporate role, was building the coach certification. And everybody kept coming up to us and saying, oh my gosh, you guys are really good at this. Like you should make this a business. And I was like, it's an interesting perspective. I never really thought about that. And over the years, it just kept happening. And then eventually we said, okay, we're going to do this. And we did. We launched our Leader Coach Intensive a couple of years ago in pilot phase, and then full phase last year. It's been super successful. And I think a big part of it is because we love it so much.
That's amazing.
Our passion is behind it, and we just have so much fun doing it. It doesn't feel like work when we're doing it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a key for me, is really understanding that is when I'm feeling that just sort of flow in my work, it's usually a sign that I'm sort of in my place of purpose.
Fantastic. So it's kind of one thing led to the other, and here you are. And
so
the Leader Coach Intensive started right before COVID, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah, it actually did.
Okay.
We were running workshops, and we had to switch them from in-person to virtual. And now everything we do is virtual because of that. And we actually love it more because it gives us more flexibility with our families. Yeah, we launched this business through COVID, and it's just been such a blast.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I love that story. So when you decided to actually make the leap from the corporate world to what you're doing now, we all face obstacles when we're thinking of making a change, and then you think, oh no, I don't know if I can do it. And I'm not good enough to do this, or I just don't know how to do this. And so tell us a little bit about some of those obstacles that you may have faced, and what would you advise other women who are perhaps looking to change careers or start something new in order to get rid of those blocks that are in our way?
Oh yeah.
It's a lot. That's a long, big topic. I know there's a lot. We could talk about the whole hour on that, but
so much here. Yeah. So probably a couple things. I think the first one is sort of the obvious one, is the paycheck, right? Like if we're looking at it, often we're coming from pretty good corporate jobs. For me, I was management level, really good paycheck. And you're going to go from that steady paycheck to nothing for a while, just being honest, right?
Yep.
So for me, planning was a big piece, because the last thing that I wanted to do was start taking on work I didn't want to do just to pay the bills. So I planned. I actually saved up at least a year's salary so that I didn't have to take on consulting jobs and things that just weren't aligned with my purpose and what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to focus on building my business full time and allow it to be okay if I wasn't making anything in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew if I was following my joy, I would eventually be more successful than taking on those odd jobs that I was just doing to pay the bills. So plan. That's one of the big pieces of advice, is ensuring you have a plan, whether it's saving up some income, a nest egg, or maybe your spouse has the ability to take on some of the load for a while you pursue your dreams. It can be different for everybody, but just ensuring that you have that plan so you're not taking on work you don't want to do, because you don't want to get back in that cycle you were in before.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that's kind of the first piece for me, sort of the logistical side.
Yeah.
And then the other thing for me, I learned this really fast, is that you can't do it all. So I was ready, Kavita, to launch my 2 businesses out the door May 1st last year, right away at the same time. And I learned pretty darn fast that isn't even humanly possible. What was I thinking? Like, I was going to burn out really darn fast.
Yeah.
And the big part of the reason I was leaving is so that I could have a bit more work-life balance and spend more time with my family.
Right.
So what was the rush in sort of being out of the gates with 2 full businesses for me? So what I needed to do was just take a step back. I ended up launching with 1 business, getting that really stable, getting everything working, all of the systems, so that then when it was time 6 months later to start looking at my next business, I was okay. I knew that other business was functioning okay. And the stress level reduced significantly for me.
That's great.
So still super busy. My days are planned. Every minute is planned, but I'm not in this place of stress where I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do everything, be everything to everybody. Yeah. I'm okay with things happening as they need to.
That's a really good advice, because I know that coming for myself, going from the corporate world where everything is done for you, just kind of show up, right? It's like, oh, the computer's here and it's all working and everything's fine. And then you go into entrepreneurship and you're like, oh shoot, I have to be the accountant and the marketer and the everything else. And that's very important. I should probably take your advice about, kind of taking a step back, because you can get burnt out pretty quickly.
Yeah. Breathing into it, right? And just allowing each step to unfold the next step. And then that sort of leads me to my third piece here, is around our mindset as founders. This is something I'm learning now going into my 2nd year, is that I need to shift my mindset from the mindset of an employee to the mindset of a founder. So in the early stages of that business, of course, you're in that employee mindset because you're doing everything. You're doing the social media, you're doing the marketing, the accounting, the creation, everything. But as your business starts to grow, it's really important to start shifting your mindset to that of a founder. So the strategic direction, sort of building that business and letting go of some of those other things that maybe could be taken on by someone else. So we just hired our first assistant. We're super excited. He's been fantastic so far. And he's going to take on those things, such as building our social media, building our marketing funnels, our landing pages, all of those administrative tasks that are, frankly, a lower hourly rate than I want to be making as a founder. Yeah. So it kind of helps you it's almost like a guidepost for me to say, is that my $500 an hour work that I want to be doing as a founder, or is that $20 or $30 an hour work? And if that's the case, and as my business is growing and I have the ability to hire someone, that's what I need to do to sort of let go and shift to that founder mindset. So work in progress for me, for sure. It's really hard to let go. I'm learning of some of those things that I've been grasping onto really, really hard. Yeah. But so needed for growth in a business.
That's really, really great advice. And as you were talking, I was thinking about this, because this podcast, like, there's so much that goes into a podcast, for example. And if I was to do everything, I would go So and there's so many people that can help you. And it's actually a nice reciprocal that you can help them and they help you. Right. And so, for example, this editing of this podcast, I don't do it because I don't know how to edit podcasts. So it's right. Give away the tasks or let go of control, I would say, of the tasks that you probably don't enjoy or are not expert at. So
absolutely.
Advice. Yes. Yeah. Awesome. So planning, can't do it all, and mindset as a founder. So those are some of the obstacles that kind of will help that you kind of faced and have helped to excel. So that's wonderful. So I wanted to just kind of, if you would, I'd like to read something from your book. I really enjoyed it. And then I want to read this and then get your thoughts on tell me a little bit about what prompted you to write the book and what it's all about, but it's on page 4. So what if we shifted our way of thinking? What if we could make different choices? What if we were able to love today and create lives we are excited about? What if we were not defined by what we have, what we do, or what others think of us? What if we strived for internal happiness, let go of external means of value, and focused on what truly matters to us? It's time to start the shift to TGI today. I love that perspective. It's so great. So
Thank
great.
you.
And I just wanted to share that, and also tell us about your book and what prompted you to write it. And can you give us a bit of an overview?
Absolutely. This has been sort of my passion for the last 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been such a fun journey that sort of happened in parallel at the same time as the Leader Coach Intensive. For me, where it all started off, honestly, was probably on a family vacation to Costa Rica, November 2018. Super clear in my mind. Another pivotal moment, kind of lying on the beach, looking at my life, kind of doing a bit of an inventory, going, I seem to have everything. I got the rockin' job and the family and the house and the car and opportunities for vacation. Really, life looked perfect. But for some reason, there's this inner calling, this inner voice that's going, there's more, Brianne, there's more to life. And honestly, I started feeling a bit guilty, going, what right do I have to be questioning happiness when I have everything?
Mm-hmm.
But what I realized was I had everything on the outside. I had the job title, I had the status, I had the house, I had the toys, everything that we've been taught success means. But for me, I realized that I really needed to start redefining success because that was not fulfilling me anymore. I don't know if it really ever did, but sometimes it takes us time to get there to really realize what's missing. And what was missing for me is really defining what happiness was for me. And for me, it was knowing myself, knowing who I am, knowing what I want, what matters to me, and making choices to live by that.
Mm-hmm.
That was the shift that was starting to happen for me. And when I was able to pinpoint it, I started seeing this pattern all over the place. I started seeing it in the people I was coaching at work, and my practice I had on the side, in family and friends. Everybody seemed to be chasing something in the future.
Yeah.
It's like, I will be happy when I get to this job, when I get that house, when I get that relationship, when I get the bonus check, or even like when I retire, I'll be happy in 10 years when I retire, whatever that might be for the person. And it was super eye-opening for me to go, wow, we are all waiting for something else to be happy. And we're not actually finding it in today. Because when we get to that next thing, then we start setting our eyes on the next thing.
We're never satisfied.
We're never satisfied. And joy starts to become a moving target.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge realization for me. And I knew it was my mission to support people to find more happiness in today, because we don't know how long we're going to be here. We really don't. Like, all of our time could be different. So it's really important that we find the joy today. So I started doing some research, having conversations with many women across the world. And that's actually where I came up with the TGI Today formula, which is sort of what the book is all about.
Yes, tell us about that.
So TGI Today is all about finding joy today. And it's about helping people shift from sort of what I call that TGIF mentality, wishing for tomorrow to find happiness, to finding it today. So the formula has 3 main factors. So it's purpose plus people plus pace. And those things sit on a foundation of the power of choice. So if something in our purpose is not meeting up with our happiness, we have a choice to do something different. If something around the people we spend time with is not meeting up with our joy, we can change that. We can set firmer boundaries. We can decide to spend less time with that person. Or maybe we need to call in more positive people into our life.
Right.
And then pace. That's a big one for a lot of people. A lot of people are struggling with the pace of their days. They feel really, really fast. People can feel really drained because we're just trying to do too much. We're trying to be everything to everyone. So for us there, if something's not aligning, we need to look and spend some time looking at our day. How are we spending our time? How many should do's are we doing that we're doing things to make other people happy that aren't really connected for us? If that's the case, we need to exercise our power of choice because we have the choice to create a life that we love. It's in our control. We are not victims of our circumstance around our happiness in our days.
That is so true. There's so much there. And I love that. What you said about chasing, being happy when, I'm sure you've read Eckhart Tolle, who talks about the present, the present moment. And the other thing that triggered when you said that is when you are looking, when you want to, like, let's say you want the job, or you want the car, or you want the house. What is it that you actually want, right? You want the emotions that come with it. You want the happiness and the fulfillment, right? That comes with that. So I think what the formula that you're talking about is like, let's bring that feeling into today. And it doesn't have to be dependent on achieving whatever it is you want to achieve. If you can bring that in today, then you just enjoy life more. You're more in the present moment. And I think that's from what you said, that's kind of what I triggered for me. And I love the formula too. So purpose plus people plus pace over the power of choice. That's wonderful. I would encourage people to read the book because you go through each one of these elements of the formula. So that's great. So you also talk about the breadcrumbs, following the breadcrumbs to uncover your purpose. And we talked a little bit about that earlier when you were talking about the coach who told you, you can be in front of a room, right? So you did follow the breadcrumbs, but what do you mean, like, for people who are listening, how do you actually do that? How do you follow the breadcrumbs in your life? Hi, my friend, Kavita here. Do you often feel blocked from moving forward? We all feel that way at times. These are referred to as energy blocks. I've created a short, actionable PDF guide to help you release your negative energy blocks. Click the link in the description to download it now for free. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, so I really believe that purpose is all around us. I think sometimes when we hear the word purpose, we can become super intimidated because we think purpose is achieving this big thing, summiting a mountain or quitting your job or, I don't know, starting a charity, whatever that may be, like this big, massive thing.
Yeah.
But what I've learned through my work is purpose is actually found in the small moments in life. Mm-hmm. Our purpose is really to live a joyous life. So if we start paying attention to the times where we feel most ourselves, most at joy, we feel peaceful, we feel that flow. Work doesn't feel like work, as I was kind of describing earlier with the work I did around coaching. Mm-hmm. Those are the moments we really need to pay attention to, because those are signs, or the breadcrumbs, as I call them in the book, that are leading us towards our purpose, that are leading us towards where we're meant to go. And when we start to lean into them and follow them, then something else will open up. And then the next opportunity will show up. And it's sort of detaching from feeling like we have to know exactly what we're doing today and allowing each breadcrumb to guide us on our path and trust that each opportunity will unfold as we start to follow the trail that is all around us. What I notice is that our lives are so busy sometimes and so loud with to-do lists and supporting other people around us and everything that we're doing, is that we don't take time to tune in. Yeah. We don't take time to really pay attention to all of those signs and clues that are right in front of us. So through my book, I support people to lean into their breadcrumbs, to take time to reflect on what all of those things and signs and clues that have been there all along that we need to pay attention to so we can get closer to our purpose.
So with that, obviously that means being open and aware of things around you, but it also, I mean, is there specific things that people can do, like meditation or morning routine or other things that can help people kind of open up their awareness of the breadcrumbs that are right in front of them?
Yes. And the biggest thing I'd recommend is quieting the noise. Yeah. Because we can't get our answers if our brain is so loud and busy. There is no space literally for our answers to come through. Mm-hmm. So it really is different for everybody. So for me, I've developed some new practices. I recently did the Gabby Bernstein Meditation Challenge, which I thought was phenomenal. I would highly recommend that. That's really helped me kind of get that quiet space.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm doing is sort of this energy medicine routine. So it's the Donna Eden energy medicine routine, which I find is fantastic. I just learned that from Jill Ferris, who is an energy medicine practitioner, and I took her course. So I love that. So those are a couple of things that I'm doing. But really, it's so personal depending on the person. So some people might be going for a run.
Right.
That's the only time their mind can get quiet. Or going for a hike in nature. Could just be going to the park, laying out a blanket and just allowing the sun to beat down on you. Yeah. Whatever it is for you, as long as you have that space and time for your answers and your purpose and creativity to flow through, that's what's most important.
I call it play. That's what I mean by play. Yes. Finding the power, purpose, play. And that means taking the time out and whatever it makes you enjoy the moment. And like you said, it can be a run, or it can be just sitting in your quiet space. So yeah, that's wonderful. I'll have to check that out, Donna Eden. That sounds interesting. Yeah. So also, Brianne, you talk in your book a little bit about the dragonfly relationship strategy. And I know that you had mentioned earlier that if people in your life are not giving you positive energy or whatever, then there's some things that you can do about it. So perhaps you can tell us a little bit about this dragonfly relationship strategy.
Yes. So the dragonfly is all in the people chapter of the book, another super important part of the TGI Today formula. And dragonflies are really magical creatures. So they come in different styles, shapes, sizes, colors, with different strengths. And so this really maps nicely to the people in our lives that come in and out at different times as we need different people. What we need to do is surround ourselves with people that are going to lift us up, support us towards our joy, support us towards our goal. And it's our choice. Ultimately, it is our choice who we surround ourselves with. So if we do have those people that are dragging us down, we need to look at the choice that we might need to make. But we also have choice around calling in different people to our lives, around perhaps asking for something different that we might need from someone. So in the book, I talk about the different styles of dragonflies that might come in and out of our lives. And so we've got the champion and the listener and the inspirer, perspective shifter, and the critic. Okay. And they all offer sort of a different level of support or challenge, or maybe a combination of both. And as we grow and evolve and go through different phases of our lives, we're probably going to need different things depending on what stage we're at. So for example, when I was writing my book, I needed champions like no tomorrow. And I can think of my champions in my head right now, but I also needed perspective shifters. I needed people to kind of look at my work and say, hey, have you thought of this? Or, hey, not sure this is making sense. You might want to reword that. So I actually had a pilot team of 17 women who read my book and gave me feedback. And trust me, that is not an easy process. It was like, oh my gosh, I got like 50 pages of feedback, lots of good stuff, but definitely opportunities, but challenging yourself a little bit. Right. So not just calling in people that are going to support and cheerlead you, but also calling in people into your life that are going to challenge you to be better.
And also, I think that's wonderful. I love those different types of people. Also, I think it's important for people to ask for help, right? I mean, a lot of people, like you said, you asked other people to read your book and to critique it, which is amazing. And a lot of people hesitate to ask for help. And I'm not sure why, but I think we all need help in some areas of our life. And that's why coaching is so important, right? For people to really reach out. And if there's any problem or if there's anything that you're not sure of, asking for the help and surrounding yourself with positive people, and the positive energy that people have, which is what I try to do. And I don't know if you found, but in the last, I guess, couple of years since the pandemic, this mentality of the thank God it's Friday mentality, have you seen that it's shifted because of the way our lives and our work has changed? In your coaching, have you seen that people are getting more into this present moment mentality versus the TGIF mentality?
Yeah, that's such a great point, Kavita. I think we've really seen a shift. And I think people are now questioning the definition of success that society has put on us for so many years, to collect things and worry about what people think of us and what we have and all of that, to starting to look at I want to be happy. And I think it's shown in things like the Great Resignation, where we have seen thousands of people by the day leaving their job. And a big part of that is because they don't feel purposefully connected to the work that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So people are standing up, they're shouting it from the rooftops. But because this has been conditioned in us for so many years, we still have work to do. We still have a conscious choice we need to make every single day to live more joy today, because we're going to be constantly pulled in by that allure of the job title, the allure of what's in the magazine on the model or the car that we see, because media is not going to stop. They are not going to stop. So we need to, as people, ensure that we're connecting every day with what matters to us as humans, as individuals, what success looks like to us. And that's one thing I'm working on for myself, even as a joy coach, even as the author of the book. It is still a conscious choice every day that I need to set an intention to ensure that I'm able to live my full authentic truth to who I truly am in my business and not be pulled in by those things that are on the outside.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, sometimes it can be hard though. I mean, if you and I had the ability to leave our jobs and start something new, and because we had our support, or we, in your case, you planned, but I'm just thinking, what would you say to people who have to do the things, like they have to stay in a job that they maybe hate, or what is something that you can advise them to bring that joy, even if they're not currently doing exactly what they want to do because they have to?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, I stayed in my corporate job for probably a good solid 8 years once I realized there was more, because of necessity and needing to ensure that I was providing for my baby twins, right? And that's honorable. But I think there's ways we can pull into our purpose, into our everyday. So it's really understanding what that is for you. And in the purpose chapter of my book, I help people dive into uncovering their purpose. But then it's looking at, how do I approach each task I'm doing from a more purposeful place? How do I approach that task with my true authentic self? And so I think it's the mindset with how we approach things. So if we're choosing to believe we're a prisoner of our job, then that's a choice that we're making to see it that way. If we see it as part of our bigger picture, and that might be something that's there to teach us a lesson or to help us grow and develop, then just simply shifting that mindset and trying to weave in some of those purposeful moments can make a really significant difference.
Great point. We can weave it in slowly. It doesn't have to be a major shift. It can be, like you said, the breadcrumbs, and also it can take your time. I mean, you took 6 years, I took 3 years to leave my, but if you decide on something and it's in your heart and you listen to that voice inside, it's important. It's there for a reason. So we must listen to that and pay attention to it, and keep ourselves open to all the possibilities, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's wonderful. So tell us what's next for you, Brianne. What's, I know you've already got 2 businesses, you got a book. What's more? What else are you going to do now?
I know there's so many exciting things happening. And this kind of goes to the point of actually leaning into stuff and then new stuff shows up, is that probably, because it'd be 8 months ago now, I was approached by an organization to come in and to do some keynote workshops with their teams on this work, on helping their employees find more joy. And honestly, when I wrote the book, that wasn't really even on my radar. It was all about helping individuals. But as I dive deeper into this work, I've realized that organizations are hungry for this. Employees are hungry for this. People want to help their employees find happiness. I think the pandemic has really triggered this, because employees are standing up and saying, my humanness is more important than the work.
Sure.
And so I've been doing tons of workshops with different organizations, going into the organization to support them to find more joy. I work with teams, and it has been so much fun. And it wasn't even something that I knew was even going to happen. It just sort of unfolded and happened. And now it's a big part of my days. I had one yesterday with a great company, and it honestly is so fulfilling and so much fun. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is supporting.
So kind of going full circle, right? Going back to corporate.
I'm back. I'm back.
That's fantastic. Good for you. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
You're right. I think corporations are looking more at the human side, and so you're poised to help them for sure.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. This has been so great. And I don't know if you have any last points or any advice or last things you'd like to say to the audience who's listening, just to end it off.
I think the last thing I'm thinking about this as I'm looking at this glass in front of me. It's kind of faded off now, but I made this a few years ago and it says follow the pull. And so that's what I would recommend to everybody is follow what you feel pulled towards. If you feel that fire in your belly around something, usually that's a sign you need to move towards it. You need to follow that path or at least explore that path. So follow your pull would be my final word.
That's wonderful. Follow the pull because it can lead you to reinvention, for example, or it can lead you to things that you never imagined. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We will have we'll have a link to the book and all your links and where people can find you. And I really appreciate you being here and I think good luck and with all the wonderful things that you're doing and with the corporations, and look forward to seeing how great your book does as well.
Thank you so much, Kavita. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thanks.
I hope you enjoyed the practical tips and advice from Brianne that we indeed can live a life of purpose and joy today. Living life for each and every moment is the key to happiness. Here are her key takeaways. Number 1, pay attention to those opportunities that are right in front of you and to key people in your life who show up as teachers to really challenge you. Number 2, when you're feeling flow in your work, it's a sign you are in the place of purpose. Number 3, when thinking about entrepreneurship, remember, number 1, planning is key, especially when it comes to finances. 2, you can't do it all. Seek help when needed. And 3, shift from a mindset of an employee to a mindset of a founder. Number 4, shift from a TGIF mentality to finding it today. Use the formula purpose plus people plus pace over the power of choice. Number 5, we have the choice to create the life that we love. It's in our control. We are not victims of circumstances around our happiness in our days. 6, detach from knowing exactly what we have to be doing today and allow each breadcrumb to guide us on our path and trust that each opportunity will unfold as we start to follow the trail that is all around us. Number 7, quieten in the noise because we can't get the answers if our brain is so loud and busy. There is no space for the answers to come through. Number 8, surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up, support you towards your joy and goal. Ultimately, it is your choice who you surround yourself with. Number 9, follow the pull. Follow what you feel pulled towards. If you feel that fire in your belly about something, usually that's a sign that you need to move towards it. You need to follow that path, or at least explore the path. Enjoy a beautiful next few weeks of summer, and remember to cherish every moment of this life. Reach out to me if you need guidance to help you determine what will help you get into the flow of life. I'm here for you. Be safe and be well. Take care, and we'll see you in a few weeks.